Hey, welcome. Gary's Mod, kind of one of those things I work in a lot. I do a lot of personal projects, programming stuff, so I want to show off something I've been working on for some time. I apologize about the the Skyrim and Silent Hill 2 uploads. I moved to Linux, or actually I dual boot now, so I dual boot Linux and Windows, and in doing so, I accidentally wiped the entirety of my documents drive. My audio is probably going to sound different because I had to fresh reinstall OBS and super sucks. I need to check one of my drives. I have one formatted in in X4, so it's only accessible when my Linux install. They might be there. If they're there, we're in business. If they aren't there, then sadly no playthrough videos until I make up all the progress that I lost. So hopefully it doesn't come to that, because this is a game mode that I hosted kind of a off trial version to my friends December of last year, and I've decided to make it a standalone project that I will be uploading to the workshop eventually. I'm very close to having this finished. So is this is Cloak and Fragger. That's the name I've settled on. You gotta bear with me. I don't know how much I'm gonna be able to edit this down. I'm gonna toggle my OBS sources right now. So I have a second copy and I have a third copy. I have to have 3 clients open to do proper network testing, so all of this is just going to be me switching between copies. So it's going to be a little clunky. I got a vanilla-esque HUD working with me because I just like how the normal Half-Life 2 HUD feels, but I also didn't want to do something hyper modern. I'm not exactly an artist. It works. Game phase time, team player counts, round. I have a scoreboard, shows you the spies and the hunters. So that's what this mainly revolves around. You have 2 teams, which one is the spies and one is the hunters. It's kind of like a cross between prop hunt and the hidden. If any of you have watched Simple Flips before, I'll put this on screen. This is kind of what inspired me to make this, was he did a 1 versus 50 where the 50 players were invisible and he had to find them, and if he did damage to them, they became visible. Basically the exact same concept here, but just fleshed out and given a lot of really friendly and quality of life features that kind of make the experience more enjoyable. There he is. So we can see here, you see each other on the leaderboard, see each other. This spawns you as a spectator. So the spectators are Kleiner. You have no collision with players. You can hear. I have no footsteps. If we go ahead and get our third client in here, this is what you got to trust me. This is going to be a little clunky, but I have full control. So you can see the timer starts. We have enough players to start the game, so it starts a 15-second countdown. Okay, so this is playing as a spy. So I can see the hunter here, and I can see my fellow spy outlined in yellow. You see I have 2 symbols on the bottom right of my screen. One tells me that I'm hidden, and the other tells me to push R to freeze in place. Because once the timer hits 0, you'll freeze. But you can choose to freeze early, which means you can freeze in midair. So if I swap inputs now, this is the hunter screen. So you can see, once I toggle screens, there should be a hunter in front of me. but there is absolutely nothing. And it goes so far to have no collision or no indication that they are there. You're completely blind to this. If I were to hit this spy, you see, he shows up, he's visible, and then he disappears. He kind of just flashes, just to give you a hint of where he is. If I show you that spy's screen, and he gets shot, you can see it unfreezes him. It puts a little bar on the right, so you have a little bit of a chance to, like, run away. Wherever he ran to. There he is. So again, you see that little bar in the bottom right. Tells you how long it is to get frozen. If I shoot him halfway through, it resets the timer. And it flashes him on the hunter's screen again. If he were to die, we get 20 seconds of bonus time. If we were to shoot this guy in the sky, wherever he is, there we go. You fall down. So you can freeze in midair, but if you get shot out of midair, you're screwed. So I'm actually going to let this round time out. There's 3 ways a round can end. The hunter dies, all of the spies are killed, or the spies win by time. So the timer hits 0, someone's alive, it's going to end the game. So I'm going to cut 2 minutes in the future to show you what a round end looks like. So this round's going to end in about 10-ish seconds right now. So whenever a round ends and a spy is still alive, it will make everyone visible to everyone. Here's our countdown. And look at that. He spawns a little positional marker that you can see through walls. So if any spies are left alive at the end of the round, you can see where they were standing, and it gives it a little name tag so you know who was standing there. And of course, here's a little quick glimpse of the spectator view. You can see that both players have outlines. All good. So respawn is the hunter. You can see the whole time the spies are hiding, you actually have full vision. Because, I mean, come on. Everyone's invisible anyways. You can't shoot, you can't move. Just gotta look around. So I'm going to reboot this, but I'm going to reboot alone. I want to show off some extended features. So immediately, I'm going to zoom in on this. You can see on the left over here, you can change all of these parameters. You can change how long the hunters have to find the spies. You can change how many rounds get played before we change map. You can change how long the spies have to hide. You can change how long you have in the post game to kind of discuss hiding spots and, you know, go like, dude, look where I was standing. And then we have some toggles. So the 2 that are on by default is manual freezing, which basically lets you push R to freeze position early. If you disable that, it'll just freeze you when the hiding timer hits 0. And then we have allow freezing in midair. Self-explanatory. If it's enabled, you can freeze in midair. If you disable it, spies will have gravity while they're frozen, so you can't do any funny hiding off the edge of the map or, you know, stuck in the ceiling shit. And then we have 2 toggles. We have infection style, which is what it sounds like. When a spy dies, they become a hunter. Prop hunt style-ish, depending on the version you play. And then we have inverted teams. So by default, it spawns 1 hunter and all the other players as spies. The inverted teams toggle does what you think it does. It spawns 1 spy and everyone else as hunters. I don't know if that's doable. So the big thing that I have been working on is the config menu. So let me get one extra client in here, not for any gameplay, but just to show you what it looks like when we try and open this. So by default, that command is cf underscore config menu. And you can see here, he does not have permission to open the menu because he is not an admin or server operator. But if you are an admin, you can do cf underscore config menu. It opens this. So one of the things that I really enjoy in a game mode is customizability, and I want that to be easy. Nothing annoys me more than opening prop hunt or opening TTT and having to go into a Lua file or a config file and paste in the model paths so they can be assigned properly on the server side. It should just work. It should be easy for your players. You can see we have a list here, and these are our default models that the game mode defaults to. G-Man for the spy, Kleiner for the spectator, and the Combine for the hunter. If I remove all of these models, you can click anything and you can hit the buttons up here. You can put it to the hunter, the spy, or the spectators individually, or you can add it to all roles so everybody shares a model. What is nice about this is that if you add like 3 models to the hunter pool, it will choose them at random. So it's a working system. This also supports any and all valid workshop player models. So you could have Miku be the hunter, you could have the Combine be the spy, and you could have Breen be the spectator, and you hit this save button, and that saves and applies them. So if we get this second client in here, he's going to spawn in as Breen. There you go. And for a fun bit, if I change that now and I decide I want the charcoal as the spectator model, it updates in real time. It should just be easy. And I rebooted for a particular reason, because if you look here, it saves between sessions. It's a persistent file. So if you really have a player model set up that you love and your friends, you know, everyone gets their favorites in there, you can just save the model list, and as long as you have those models installed, it will just load the list that you saved. Similarly, you can do the same with the hunter's loadout. So by default, it just gives you 99.99 ammo of all types. But you can see here we have all the base Half-Life 2 stuff, and then I have Arc CW's Counter-Strike Plus installed. You can see it just autofills all of those sweps, anything that's spawnable, so I can hit remove all weapons. We can give the hunter a deagle and a sawed-off. You just hit save, and now whenever the hunter loads in, they're going to load in with a deagle and a sawed-off. And the same thing, if I disconnect and I relaunch the server, boom, it just saves. And it is important to note that since only the admin can open that menu, the same person needs to host, because they have the data on their game. They have the persistent file. And then you have a config menu, so you can just change to any of those alternate stuff mid-game. You can disable manual freezing, freezing midair. You can decide halfway through you want to start playing Infection. You just tick the box. Next round, the game mode changes. It's easy. Because in my head, that's just how it should be. I shouldn't have to go through any of this extra game mode documentation to just let it work. Common concerns, I showed this to a lot of my friends, common concerns. Spectators cannot interact with any physics props. They cannot interact with doors. They make no footstep noises. Only spectators can hear spectator voice chat. Only spectators can see spectator text chat. So there's no ghosting, no possibility of ghosting unless you go through an avenue that's outside of the game. But as it is right now, I am in my limited testing, it is very fun. In this clip, I have here enabled infection mode, so you can see that I'm standing on this corner as a spy, and the other spy is standing right here looking at the corner. So whenever infection mode is enabled, spies cannot see each other in order to prevent ghosting, because obviously, let's do the hunter POV. Whenever you kill a spy, it's going to say defected, and it's going to give me a script error for some reason. But you can see that despite the cosmetic error, he has respawned as a hunter with all of his weapons, and there is now a 2v1 on the leaderboard to find the other spy. All other rules still apply, and I guess aside from this error here on line 212, I will be in Washington this weekend, so I just wanted to kind of put something out to kind of update, but also show what I've been working on, because I'm very excited to get this on the workshop eventually. I think it's going to be very, very fun. Like I said, I'll be in Washington this weekend, so I'm going to get as much done as I can. And next weekend, the Saturday the 4th, Friday the 3rd, I'm going to get together about 8 to 10 of my own friends. I'm going to do a final playtest. I might record that and make it its launch video, put that on the workshop, and then I'll make it public. If everything works with no issues, this will be public, probably the technically second week of March, that week of the 5th. So keep an eye out for that. In the meantime, I'm going to be making up progress in Skyrim, because I'm a dumbass and I fucking deleted my save file by accident. I didn't mean to. It just Windows 11 botched my install and it wiped my drive. I had a blank drive to install Windows 2, and then I had my current drive that had my old copy of Windows and all the files I wanted to back up, and instead of installing Windows on the blank drive, and installed it on the drive with all the shit on it. So I'm out a lot more than just save files. I lost a lot of Photoshop files, most notably all of the ones I used for the YouTube channel. They're just gone now, so hoorah. I gotta remake those from scratch, but if I do add anything new, I'll make a follow-up video, but for now, it is 3 in the morning for me, so I'm going to go to bed and edit this in the morning. So y'all take it easy, stay safe, and I will see you next time.